Admissions upheaval at University of Texas, Austin. That is the topic of today's video. My name is Craig Meister. I'm a college admissions coach. You can learn more about me and how you can work with me one-on-one throughout the entire college admissions process on my website, which is collegemeister.com. So one part of this news is that UT Austin is requiring standardized tests again to be considered for first-year admission, the SAT or ACT. So that normally would be a headline in and of itself and a news story and a video in and of itself. But UT Austin is in Texas. And you know what they like to do in Texas? They like to go big or go home. And so the fact of the matter is the news doesn't stop there. While that news is important enough, and I'm very happy I shared it at the top of this video, I have some other news to share about some major changes. And again, I would call it upheaval in the approach to first-year applications at UT Austin, because there is a lot of other news to share that is extremely important for you if you are going to be a savvy applicant or a savvy parent of an applicant for a student applying in the 2024 to 2025 cycle and thereafter, because the news does not stop there. Number one, or let's say number two, but the number one news, of course, was that UT Austin is requiring the SAT or ACT again in order to be considered for first-year admission. Number two is UT Austin is now introducing a new early action program. This optional deadline will require application submission by, oh my goodness, wait for it, October 15th. This is an early deadline with a guaranteed decision communicated to applicants by January 15th. That's not so early. I would have enjoyed hearing by middle of December, but they're going to give a guaranteed decision to those students who apply by October 15th's early action deadline at UT Austin. They're going to tell you in January, the middle of January, January 15th. The regular deadline for UT Austin first year admission will remain December 1st, and the guaranteed reply by date for that deadline will be February 15th. So you hear a month early in order to, when you apply, a month and a half early, if that makes sense. You're applying October 15th, you're going to hear by January 15th. If you're applying by December 1st, you're going to hear back from Texas by February 15th. Now there's another change. This is change number 3. Modification of the required essay. So this will provide greater flexibility in topic choice and enable students to leverage responses used on other applications while expanding opportunity for a more personalized response. I guess this is being done in order to soften the blow back against UT that they certainly will be receiving from the individuals who are test optional or bust, or in some cases test blind or bust. UT Austin is going to make them very unhappy. So this is going to calm their nerves maybe a little bit, because the essay requirements will be a little bit less stressful on the average UT applicant. But there are more changes. There's a reduction in the number of short answer responses. So this is change number 4. This reduction from 3 responses down to 2 will maintain the currently used major related question you're going to have to respond to, but it's also going to create a new prompt that allows students to highlight a specific activity of their choice. There's also going to now be a wait list. This is change number 5. Talk about upheaval. My goodness, it's like we're having an earthquake in Texas. Applies to students who are not automatically admitted. Most students will be notified as early as March 1st if they are admitted from the wait list, the new wait list at UT Austin. And now there's also a final 6th change afoot in Austin, and this is the narrowed scope of letters of recommendation, which is basically in reference to the following. Applicants submitting letters of recommendation are now going to be strongly encouraged to provide those letters from sources outside of their high school. So this is interesting, and this is relatively new. Now, this has been an option at other schools, but it hasn't been sort of the focus of other schools. But UT Austin seems to be taking the lead. This is going to, in their mind, reduce the burden of work on high school teachers and counselors and allow for UT Austin to better leverage other materials. So this could be, I guess, a boss or a preacher or a coach. I don't know what it could be. It could be it's not really clarified in full depth in this major announcement that UT has put out, but it certainly sounds as though the letter of recommendation focus is not going to be academic or in school in nature as much as it would be sort of extra or co-curricular in nature, as long as you define extra or co-curricular as basically everything having to do with things beyond the curriculum, beyond academics, beyond the student's performance as a student, but rather his or her performance as an individual in the real world. And that we will probably learn more about as we get closer to the actual real official start of the 2024-2025 admission cycle, which really kicks off in summer. But we are now in March, and it's not bad to start pondering what this may mean for you if you're going to be a serious applicant to UT Austin in the year or years ahead, depending on your grade level or your child's grade level. The biggest news, again, is that you're going to have to submit test scores, especially if you're from out of state and you're not in the top 6% in Texas, in a school that ranks. You are going to have strong test scores to fit into the paltry number of places available for students who are not accepted through the top 6% program at UT Austin. So you're going to have exceptionally strong SAT or ACT scores. Now, you may be wondering, why did they make this decision? What are they basing it off? Unlike other schools, they're just coming right out and saying the truth, which is, at least at UT Austin, higher standardized test scores translated on average to better collegiate academic performance. Of 9,200 first-year applicants enrolled in 2023, those who opted in had an average GPA of 0.86 grade points higher during their first fall semester at UT Austin than those who did not opt into submitting test scores. And controlling for a wide range of factors, including high school class rank and GPA. That's very obvious, of course, to any person who's focused on this like I am all the time, since so many high schools give GPAs that are extremely inflated, though that is no longer really a very noteworthy thing to have a high GPA. Those same students were estimated to be 55% less likely to have a first semester college GPA of less than 2.0, all else being equal. So my goodness, that's pretty notable. The students who are accepted test optionally have less success on average at UT Austin. Those who opted in had a median SAT score of 1420, meaning opting into submitting their scores in the regime that we are now ending, which is the test optional regime, compared to a median of 1160 for those who did not. Oh my Lord, they should have an asterisk next to those who graduate from UT Austin during the years that test optional students were accepted, which is of course exactly what's happening across the board at all the other colleges too. Makes you think, makes you really think. In any case, now you know there's more to the story. And the fact of the matter is, if you want to read the entire news release from UT Austin, you can do so by clicking below this video. I'll include a link to the entire news release. Again, if you enjoyed this video, though, you may want to work with me one-on-one. Go to my website, collegemeister.com, in order to learn how you can do that. Beyond that, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and seriously consider subscribing to my channel here on YouTube. Until next time, stay safe, stay well, and most importantly, stay stress-free throughout the entire college admissions process.